Welcome back, Summoners, to the League of Legends Varsity League. Light the skies. My name is Vulcan, and with me is Arctic, your shoutcasters for Game 4 of Match 2.
Yes, and what an interesting game that we had earlier. AME retaliate. True to their name, retaliation is real, definitely. Even with the, I wouldn't even say good start. It was a good for the first few minutes, and then it just toppled for TUP. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just really hoping that TUP, given their experience in the Collegiate League, has more of a comeback factor going into this next game, realizing what their mistakes were and hopefully not repeating them in Game 2.
Because what we saw in Game 1 of Match 2, in our fourth game for the broadcast, is that TUP really overextending their reach, not really respecting that AME can actually bounce back. So let's see on the drafting phase. This is the League of Legends Varsity League powered by Lenovo. Like the skies again, because right now you have to try your best to come back from your loss. Maybe TP may end this with a 1-1. We'll see.
Yeah, but looking at the bans here, Tristana, Jace, and Rek'Sai going to be taken away. No surprise on that Jace ban right there from Acedia. Meanwhile, Zed going to be taken away from Nieve. Once again, I like the respect coming in from to Nieve's Zed, Twitch, as well as the Shen from Falcata. Looks like the Ornn will be prioritized by Falcata if that is indeed a lock-in. That is a lock-in indeed. Ornn will be taken away by AMA. Azir and Ezreal.
We did see that Ezreal with the Kleptomancy was played by AMA, but this time will be falling in the hands of TUP for Game 2.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting right here. Ezreal has been one of those champions that has been popping up more. So if this does go to Cha in the jungle, I'm expecting a lot more proactivity, in which I feel is much more in tune with what TUP's strengths are as a team. So if they do send this Ezreal jungle, thumbs up. I'm expecting quite the match.
We'll be seeing a lot of bans onto the ADC of AMA. Looks like Relapse's Ezreal has been taken away for the second game. And as for the Gnar, will be removed from TUP. And as you said, one of the keys of the series was Gnar, but he will be picking up probably the Gangplank in the top lane.
Meanwhile, let's go ahead and try to see for Relapse. Other options that it could potentially go for. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be the Lucian, and with this Caitlyn going to be the final pick for Navi here. Both compositions are complete. Very, how do I even put it? Somewhat expected of the current preseason. I like how these picks are rolling out, coming in from both sides. But if anything, I'm expecting a lot more proactivity from TUP given this composition, especially considering the nature of a jungler Ezreal.
So far, this will be the jungle Ezreal versus the jungle Sejuani. We'll see how everything falls. I mean, you always talk about like how this jungle Ezreal is a really good pick. But let's see if the Sejuani will let them have it, because Sejuani in the previous game was not that impactful. But when it comes to team clashes, it was really spot on. But let's see for the Ornn. Ornn against a Gangplank. Looks like this will be a free lane for the Gangplank, because an Ornn can't really do much against the Gangplank.
Is that based on experience?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, I mean, with this, let's go ahead and talk about how things will go down for AMA, because it's a given. When you're a jungle Ezreal, especially with the games that we've seen thus far, wherein Ezreal just really pops off within the earlier phases, especially when he gets successful ganks, just really wreaks havoc across lanes. What AMA wants to do is they want to play it, in my opinion, a little bit more safer, or if they want to play a little bit more aggressive, establish vision first, try to get wind of where this Ezreal is lying around, just so that they don't get caught out in a ceasefire in a way. But we'll just have to see.
We're talking about being caught out of vision. It's more on luck. I mean, you don't want to be in the bad place when you're going to be going for a blind face check, and when you're going for a gank where you don't expect where the jungler could be, because you don't want to be countered jungled by this Ezreal or countered gank by Ezreal, because an Ezreal's level 2 gank is very powerful.
Oh, without a doubt. But if you're going to consider the champions that AMA has, there are quite a bit of delicate champions that AMA has to look out for, does not get under any circumstances pressured by this Ezreal. But then again, we've been talking so much about this Ezreal jungle. Let's go ahead and talk about the Sejuani pick as well. Has worked in AMA's favor, like you mentioned. And then the earlier phases, not quite as much, but when it came to the moments that mattered, like the team fights, boom! That's where AMA's jungler really performed. So we'll just have to see if he could exhibit that same strength that he did in Game 1, especially going up against a different kind of jungler in the form of that Ezreal.
I think the only reason why the jungle Sejuani was able to work was Acedia fed the Sejuani 3 times.
There you go. And, well, aside from that, that if you're gonna look at the fights, I like how AMA's jungler was usually zoning out the carries from. I mean, not because well, there's a lot of carries from them, obviously, but was zoning out the AD carry in particular, just so that the rest of because as much as possible. Since there's a lot of carries, you want to try to minimize the damage that you're getting. So by eliminating one carry from the fight, it allows AMA to have a little bit more focus as to who they could gun for. It's more of a toppling them one by one as opposed to within one swipe.
When you're talking about the top lane being one swipe, I mean, it's all about control. You don't want to be overextending again in game one. Let's see if Varsity has toned down just a bit.
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, it's but then again, if you're going to consider the nature of the LVO, this is why we do have the coaches, so that at least the coaches could easily point out what went wrong for the team, so that they have that clear mind in a way. Because especially when you're in the player's position, and this is more from a realistic standpoint based on experience, when they come off, when you're in these best of twos, and you have to go into a second game after coming from a defeat. I mean, there's definitely that heavy, I wouldn't say heavy atmosphere. I think it depends on the player attitude, but still. We'll just have to see how that goes for them. If they could recover and realize what went wrong for them in game one and correct that going into game two and hopefully propel them in this into a 1-1. Because if this goes 2-0 for AMA, then things will be tricky for TUP. Whatever mojo they had during week one falls flat in week two.
So let's say this is the final player lineup, player cards. No subs will be pointed in, and now let us now get onto the Rift.
Oh, yes, there we go. Of course, once again, this is our second game for match 2 between AMA University QC Retaliate versus TUP Technological University of the Philippines Monterville Pro Tijum in what will hopefully be quite the match ahead for us. Looking at things though, coming in, looks like we have that Alistar skin being run once again. A little bit of a tilter onto Relapse, onto Kenfrost. Hopefully it doesn't really make much of an impact on them, but that bell can get pretty, I'm not even going to hold back. It gets kind of
annoying?
Yeah, it gets annoying. That's the right word I was looking for. Thank you.
I mean, when you're going to say something, just say it.
Yeah. But
because
yeah,
when you're talking about, let's say, matchup and not just the bot lane, the top lane, however, I'm really worried how this Gangplank, this Ornn is going to be playing things out, because when you're talking about being an Ornn against Gangplank, you're not going to have a good time, obviously. You're going to have a terrible time. You're going to be not feeding the Gangplank directly.
Indeed. And with Acedia, though, coming back into this lane here. And this is a tricky part later on. Parley in itself doesn't deal as much onto Falcata, but when the barrels come in, that's where the boom boom pow kind of comes for this Gangplank when dealing with this Ornn. But
and this Gangplank also has Kleptomancy. So back to what I was saying, it's like you're not going to feed the Gangplank in terms of, let's say, kills, but you're going to be feeding it due to the Kleptomancy's ruin. So yeah, just like that, easy 10 gold. Has sort of the Bandit. He is running the Spell Thieves Edge, so he does have the Bandit passive. So for this Gangplank, free money all throughout the game.
Oh man, this is what I love about these new games. You get flashbacks of the older items that were out of sea for many seasons, and then suddenly makes a cute little comeback like this Vision, or like the Sight Ward, for example.
The Vision Ward, the Green Ward?
Yeah, that one. You know, it's been a while since I saw that, but you know, nice to see it back. But still,
it looks like this Jungle Ez will be getting the first blood of the game. Perhaps he will be flashing in for the flash. The first blood, easy peasy, says to Ezreal.
And that is what you'd expect of a Jungle Ezreal. Just gonna go hard and try to just get you in and out. And it's a great start for Chado. That's what he wants to be doing. And if he could keep this up, continuing to try to shut down Zhao, leave him to a point where he doesn't really impact the lanes in the early game, then I think this could be an easier way for TUP to secure a victory. But then again, it all comes down to how they play this out. Hopefully they avoid the mistakes that they've been making earlier.
A lot of damage coming in onto Acedia. It looks like the brittle stacks are doing a bit too much, but he will be chugging down those potions and will be eating oranges to sustain his lane. He also has the elixir of The red one. Ah, man, it's such a trip down memory
I
lane.
know, right? It's so crazy, but meanwhile, Cha kind of lingering there. Is he going to try to go for a Falcata, though?
He does have the red buff. He may go in for the shift in and then the cheese, the slow from the red buff, and not just that damage.
Oh, yeah, there we go, though. Looks like a little bit of a trade-up happening between Relapse as well as Navi, though. Relapse taking quite a bit of damage, though. Forced to pop his barrier. Meanwhile, Navi still has his, so I definitely say with the Summoner spell down, that's a small victory for TUP. That's something that AME has to take into account of now, leaving themselves a little bit more in the vulnerable end. Actually, not just barrier, even the heal was popped. Meanwhile, TUP's bot lane has both their summoners up, both Caitlyn and the Alistar. A little bit of a trade happening between Niebe and Bam, though. Niebe taking so much damage, has to back away just a little bit.
And so far, we're seeing Sa in the bot lane, waiting for his time to go in, but it's a bit too risky for TUP. And we did see in the mid lane a lot of damages being traded off. But when it comes to level 6 spikes, I would bet that Bam will have to be very careful about Niebe because of that Syndra's easy burst point-click ultimate.
Looking at things, though, for across the board, I gotta say, it's still fairly calm, even though with that one kill onto Zhao. I think, if anything, the people that could really dictate the flow of this game as far as what action will be seen later on is definitely these junglers, as well as to an extent. If you notice, Relapse and Navi getting really aggressive in these trades earlier, so we'll just have to see how that goes down for Okada, though.
Dealing a lot of damage onto Asidia, but he will just be walking out. This is a pattern that we'll be seeing all throughout the game, where he won't even mind the damages that he's getting from the Ornn. He doesn't care at all. This is just going to be farming up those silver serpents and the gold and immediately rushing the lane defense. No matter what you do, you can push the lane all you want, harass the gangplank. In the end, he's just going to be winning the lane.
Overall, though, this is just going to be really good. Great start, though. I like that Falcata is proactively trying to trade with Asidia, but at the same time, one thing that he has to look out for is you're going to notice kind of lost out a little bit on the CS department here. 10 CS difference, and if there's one thing, he doesn't want to allow that to kind of extend a bit more, especially since, ooh, Asidia, though, taking a bit of damage there.
But in return, I think the Falcata's getting more damage because you don't have an innate heal ability. You don't have enough potions anymore. He didn't even pick up any potions at all, but he's just chugging down his last potion right now. So what's going to happen for this Ornn? He's not going to be sustaining his lane any much longer. Meanwhile, this Gangplank already recalling, pushing the lane faster, harder than this Ornn can actually outpush this Gangplank.
Indeed, with this heavy wave, though, this will allow Falcata to farm up a little bit, just take it a little bit more easier there. Meanwhile, Asidia establishing some vision, will be able to catch up Zhao if ever he transitions to the top side. So, good timing.
We are seeing this one, yes, now in the jungle side, but now looks like in the mid lane things are heating up. Ghost has been popped by Niebe, but Bam will not be re-engaging the fight. He is a bit skeptical in the river side of AME.
Just walks around the Emperor's Divide like a champ. But then again, that's the tricky part. Like after that, there wasn't really much of a follow-up from the Bam there. But let's go ahead and see. Looking at the bot lane, a little bit of a trade happening between these two champions. I mean, there's mostly been much of these small trades, but nothing that really leads to any kills. So I'd still see less of the action. Calm before the storm once again.
I wonder what can Falcata do in this matchup, because all I can think of is build towards your items or team fight, because you should actually give up your dreams or even trying to kill this Gangplank, because it's kind of impossible. Maybe you should call in some help from the Sejuani, but the Sejuani has the Ezreal to deal with, and I think this is the trouble that AME is facing, because they had a game where the Sejuani got 3 easy kills, was on a killing spree, immediately picking up the Cinderhawk and moves on to the Knight's Vow. This is not the same case anymore.
It's basically a scenario of kind of considering your priorities in a way for AME, but still, I would say though that in TUP's case, it's a little bit of a slower pace than I would have anticipated, considering that they are running a jungle Ezreal. Not really much of opportunities being seized here by TUP, but then again, I think you have to attribute it to the fact that most of the time TUP's lanes are quite pushed out.
And when you're talking about the objectives and the pushed out lanes, that gives more control for TUP and gets an Infernal Drake easy. Because they have a Caitlyn and an Alistar. They have a Lucian and a Janna. Who's going to win? One with higher range, longer range, can abuse it with the traps. And with that being said, a very fast Drake for TUP.
If anything, most of what John is going to be doing, if ever it's just basically these 2v2s in the bot lane, is she's just going to be basically a disengage tool to whatever proactivity comes from Miko. But after that, there's not really as much that Donna can do. Could provide the shields, but then again, take note, within the earlier levels, high mana cost as well as very high cooldowns.
I think this Gangplank will be having easy time, but in the mid lane, that's going to be a very good lockdown from AMA, immediately getting the kill for Niebe.
I like capitalizing on that Azir's.
Oh, the ball lane, things are heating up now. Be taking a lot of damage, forced to flash away, gets the heal popped off. But look at the Lucian taking so much damage, but there's the Monsoon for the heal, plus the barrier for the defensive shield. And now the Alistar just going to be forcing out this clash.
Miko just tanking the culling like a champ there. But let's go ahead and talk about what happened here in the mid lane in one of our more successful ganks here coming in from Zhao. Basically, that's something you want to do when you're going up against Azir within the earlier phases. Azir is quite delicate within the earlier phases until such time he reaches his key items, and that's where he really gets things going. And that's technically why we haven't really seen much of Azir these past few seasons after his prime. It's because of that heavy weakness that you have to go through in the early to even to an extent to the mid game until you build up on the items which really benefit him in the later parts of the game.
And when you're building towards items, I think this Gangplank is going to be getting the 24s rather early. He just needs to go back and finish it. But when it comes to laning, CS is all onto a Stadia for 82 to 62. That is going to be a huge bonus when you're talking about gold difference. And what can this Ornn do? I don't know what he's going to build with that cloth armor. Probably going for the Righteous Glory Rush. We do see that a lot in the LCL, LVL builds. I'll be favoring more of, let's say, this Ornn building towards more defensive in a way that they can actually block this Azir's wall. Because when you're using Emperor's Divide, he can just use the E and just destroy the Divide, and that makes the ultimate kind of useless for the Azir.
I think ultimately it comes down to AMA just trying not to concur many casualties, which they have done within this early game, because I think going into team fights again, it does kind of come to a point where TUP has a lot of damage across the board, but it doesn't compare to the CC that AMA has.
Oh, look at the trade-up in the bot lane. See how Relapse is having a hard time trading up against Navi because of the range this Caitlyn has. But as for CS, this Lucian does have a slight advantage, but that can just be easily neglected. In the bot lane, looks like 3 members converging onto Miko. Teleport is going to be coming through. Battles here. There is Za coming in through. There's the Emperor's Divine to knock back that Ornn. Leaving behind Za to fend for himself. Tries to get away, but instead gives the double kill to Relapse.
That was awkward coming in from TUP there. I wonder what Miko was even doing there, but still with everything that happened, I think this is just TUP. Okay, let's go ahead and see what happens here with Bam, though.
Can't do anything here because he's alone. I think he just back off. And for Acedia, he did use his Cannon Barrage. He will be trying to push out this lane. First turn has not yet been secured, but when it comes to, I would say, gold lead, the AMA does have it concentrated on this Lucian. The 2 kills will really help Relapse fight against this Caitlyn. And now Navi has to think, I can't be the same aggressive type I was, because immediately Relapse gets 600 gold flat.
And let's just go ahead and see how that'll go down for TUP though. Again, we've seen these times when they kind of get careless. It's undeniable that they're talented when they're in these fights, but it's these missed positions that really make them pay the price to an extent. So hopefully this isn't a recurring issue, not for this match, but even in their future matches, because it's such a shame, especially when you peg TUP as one of those teams which you expect to perform here in the LVL.
And I would say for the itemization, looks like for the top lane, the Gangplank finished up the 24s, whereas the Warriors Enchantment has been completed by Sa. No main items have been completed for the Caitlyn, but for Relapse, he'll have an easier time doing it, thanks to the Blade of the Ruined King.
A little trade-off here happening between Falcata as well as Zia. But then again, these are 2 champions that really can't go all out in a 1v1 unless it just carelessly prolongs, but I don't think that's really something that could happen. Meanwhile, looking at AMA here, looks like...
Oh, I just love how Sa is just waiting in the brush side for the right time, going in for a going in for a clash. But I think the heal of the Alistar just gave away his position here. But Sa will not let that change his mind. See, the heal did give away the position of that Ezreal.
Good.
I mean, when you're seeing the heal particles go towards the brush for no reason, you know there's someone there.
Oh yeah. And at the end of the day, though, good dash though coming in from Liab, dodging the true shot barrage. Looks like Rift Herald will be summoned by Cha here. Let's go ahead and see what'll break out here towards the bot side.
Yes, the first turret is still up for grabs, and most probably may go towards TUP. They're trying their best to deny this push, but that's a huge chunk of health removed from the bot lane outer turret. But for AMA, good job sticking to their turret, not giving away just yet.
Not the best value you get out of this.
Oh, looks like Shiro Drift, and there's the Ember's Divide. A lot of damage onto Niebe. That's going to be the counter barrage for the assist, forcing out the flash from Niebe.
Oh no, though Niebe looks like we'll be able to survive.
Oh, this is going to be the turnaround. This could be Sky the Weak for the finishing blow, but the Glacial Prison followed by the Sejuani. Zo with the respawns going into the mid lane, securing the kill, giving an assist to Niebe.
I love the synergy coming in from AME thus far, and I think at the end of the day, that's what I've been looking for from TUP all the time. That same synergy that AME has been going for. These
Traders in the bot lane though. Looks like Lucian will be taking a lot of damage, trying to back off from Miko. But Miko, he has a weird escape. He does not know how to escape. Flyer tries to flash away, but still gives the shot down to Za.
5-2 right now. AMA definitely, but still, I gotta give my commendations to TUP because regardless of the fact that...
Oh, look at that. The Cinder is making his way in. Niebe, they go for the kill here, flashed away, but the Forge God will still be finding its target. That will be Niebe taking down Acidia.
Oh man, I love the proactivity coming in from AMA. And if you're gonna think about it, this kind of proactivity you'd actually expect more so from TUP just because they're running this Ezreal. But the more that I think about it, I think the reason why we're not really seeing Cha as proactive in the earlier phases as you'd normally expect from a jungle Ezreal is because of the fact that, number one, most of the time you'd see TUP's lanes pushed out, so it makes it almost impossible to get ganks on. Second of all, when you think of how jungle Ezreal could thrive, you'd want to have enablers in these lanes wherein they, as I've said, it basically enables you to get this Ezreal fed. And you'd ideally want that through, let's say, having champions with CC. But
oh, great job by Bam to get the first turret of the game just easy. And I don't think that Zol could do anything to even defend against it. He had no mana, just went there to try and respawn to scare him away. But you're not going to scare anyone away when you don't have any mana.
Indeed. Like, Bam just laser focus on making sure that you get a turret. But then again, at the end of the day,
what are you going to do? Just stand there and be a model. Just, okay, but I see your mana being 0. What are you going to do?
Exactly. Oh, a little bit of a dragon start here. This could potentially lead into a fight, though.
Yes, TP did secure the Infernal Drake very easy, but to take away this Cloud Drake, this could try and help maybe boost their movements around the map. Most probably, let's hope that this could be a clash that TP can win, but AMA just has so much damage and lead, especially talking about relapse. There's the Forge God docking. Oh, the Azir, great skill shot there, but Bam still has his flash. He makes it out alive for now because we're now seeing AMA pushing towards the mid lane turret. There's the kind of barrage there to try and slow them down. Looks like no minion wait for AMA to continue to push the mid lane's outer turret.
Oh man, this is just...
Relapse really loving the potential that he can duel Navi. A bit of hatred he just stockpiled from the laning phase, now showing that he can take him on.
Interesting to note though, even though AMA is up on kills, 2 turrets taken down by TUP, so that's actually the positive in all this. But
Zo has the Glacial Prison. He may go all in for the dive, but before that, to be continued. Let's look at the replay.
Yeah, basically look at what happened here to Cha. He was basically obliterated by AMA, converging onto him, chain CC, damage, all focused onto him, and it was just a 1-by-1 thing coming here from AMA. They try to go for Bam here. Unfortunately, Bam does manage to seek the safety of his turret, but then again, a 2-for-0 trade. I'd still say that's mission accomplished for AMA.
So what happened there? I don't see Navi in a death timer, so it looks like the gank does fail, and TUP does fight back from the advances of Zaw in the bot lane. But in the top lane, This will be a trade up in turrets. I love how AMA is going for more of, let's say, you push that, we push this. You touch us from the back, we'll punch you from the front. That's the game style they're going for. Trying to go for the opposite direction, mirror movements coming in from AMA.
I'm kind of worried for TUP at this point, because if this is a demonstration of what their weaknesses are, which are being exhibited through this game versus AMA, I could ultimately peg it on one thing, which is somewhat of a deficiency in the macro. Because in the micro, it's undeniable. Assyria, Cha, Bam, Navi, these are players that you've known have been really got things going during their run in the LCL. But in the LVL, since a whole new different level, I think they need to realize that in a way that their micro talent alone couldn't procure them a victory. And I think that's what's making AMA such... That's just basically puts AMA in a position where they're doing such a splendid job.
I mean, when you see the weakness of your enemy team, you want to keep poking the wound, maybe put your finger in and just drill the wound deeper and just make them bleed. And now we're seeing the kind of rush being used. Again, this removes a lot of pressure from TUP, because if they had that ready in the clash, that's going to really be beneficial. But I think right now it's more important for them to not push the lanes.
Looks like AMA, though, trying to go on the offense here. TUP will be dealing with this. Ocha making his way straight forward mid lane to help out his comrades here. Meanwhile, AMA is trying to push this as much as they can, but take note, that's heavy damage coming in from TUP, making easy work of those minion waves that eventually come in.
Well, be careful for TUP, because they are trying to shape things up. Trying to shape up, but the stun will connect onto Ezreal. That would be an easy burst onto Za. He does survive. That removes the ultimate from the Syndra, with Amico just there for the safety in case they try and go back in.
Oh man, but with this happening though, this may allow AMA to go for a retreat, but no, looks like they will decide to go for the retreat. They are incomplete, so I think that is a pretty safe call there for them, as TUP again manages to fend off a pushing win.
And so far, kill score 9-2, 21 minutes into the game, almost 21 minutes. And the third score is on TUP. But when you're looking at the goal, the double kill for Relapse changed everything. He was so scared of this Caitlyn, but now doesn't care.
Not a care in the world, indeed. But still, let's go ahead and see how this is going down so far. I mean, even with all these kills, you'd expect that it would be quite a marginal difference. But then again, I think it ultimately comes down to TUP managing to hold their ground. If you look at the differences between CS, with the exception of ADC, everyone's quite up to par.
Let's wait though. Let's wait for the damage that Varsity can bring to the fight, because at this point, Navi can't do much. He cannot actually show himself. But look at the damage coming from the Azir. They have to depend on Azir, Assyria for now. Probably Navi, he can shine probably later in parts of the game. He has to wait his turn. He has to wait for the Sejuani and the Syndra to exhaust their resources. But when you're talking about the Lucian, more mobility, more damage, more adaptability when it comes to positioning, you know it's going to be up to the Lucian. Oh my god, that's going to be a penalty for TUP for overstepping. Monsoon is there for the reset, but let's look at Bam. Will he make the soldiers do some damage? No. Forced out because of the calling. He may try to go in, but there's the Forge God coming in, forcing them out. That's a clean shot for Relapse.
Again, TUP getting caught out in these awkward scenarios, and it's almost getting tiresome to see that this is a recurring issue for them. Again, it's basically a combination of AMA playing a better macro, in my opinion, plus the fact that TUP making these mistakes that allows themselves to just propel AMA into these leads here. And with the turret, still though, goal difference isn't as big. But then again, if TUP continues to play like this, I'm very worried for them.
And when you're talking about the Mountain Drake being live right now, AMA already on the spot here. They will be reserving themselves for the Mountain Drake, and I don't think TUP can do anything to respond to this. Forced to watch from the sides. They're a bit cheeky here. They do not want to give it up just yet. It was not a fight here, Let's see though, but then AMA still taking away the Mountain Drake. Seeing as they're going from the right side, going in for the slow with the barrels. Not much damage goes in, only the Alistar gets hit, but this will be a flash by Zo trying to get away, but that's going to be a huge bonus for TUP. They did take down Relapse. There's the Glacier Prison onto the Squishies. Looks like Niebe takes down Navi, and that's going to be a huge massacre for this Azir. Spawning the soldiers, gets the double kill.
Ultimately ending in a 3-4-2 though. TUP definitely coming off a little bit better though. Bomb able to get some free hit constantly, and that definitely worked in their favor. Still though, let's go ahead and see how this ultimately goes down. And this is the tricky part here. Sure, AMA does kind of lack in the crowd control department in comparison to AMA, but they heavily make up for it through that spike in the Azir as the game moves on. Let's go ahead and check out what happened here in the replay though. Cha getting, even though that's a squishy jungle Ezreal, is taken down early, but in exchange, Cha was able to deal a substantial amount of damage onto the rest of AMA. Some really low health bars here. So even with this lock-in coming in from AMA, notice how Bomb here able to go for the back.
Great divide.
And this is what I mentioned. A lot of members of AMA were already a bit low on health as is, so that just allowed Bomb all the opportunity to capitalize on that. Almost a cleanup, almost. But let's go ahead and see how this goes on later on.
If Bam can actually pull off the same divide he did in that scenario, I would put my eyes on Bam, because that's something that you have to watch out for the enemy team themselves. Because when you're talking about, let's see, terrain advantages, let's say the Sejuani or the Ornn, great lockdown champions, great engagers in their own way. But after all that, can they clean up the fight before, let's say, TUP recovers? Because if they do recover, they have Bam for the divide, and that's going to be bad news. We do see some lingering in the blue side of AMA. Down to the air, no follow-up there. It's going to be Miko just scaring away this Syndra, probably baiting in for the Zaz ultimate there. That's going to be nothing's going to happen here. So it's most likely just to scare away the members of AMA. And meanwhile, there's pressure in the bot lane here. We do see Bam responding in. That's a lot of damage coming in from the Azir. But still, looks like Kolkata will be surviving.
Oh man, yeah, but they're getting the kill onto Chusk.
Does he have the headshot ready though? That's going to be the Syndra, very low on health. If they were able to remove the Syndra, it's going to benefit them a lot, but that's going to be Miko catching the Glacial Prison, trying to survive, goes in for the knock to the end, goes in for the shutdown onto Niebe. That is the reward that TUP wanted. That was the bounty, the head that has to be removed, and now with Syndra removed from the fight for 36 seconds, this gives a huge bonus gold towards Navi.
Great outplay there coming in from both Navi and Miko, and yeah, this definitely allows TUP to pretty much stay in the game. If anything, regardless of the heavy difference, 14-6 in kills, TUP is still up in terms of gold. And I think it ultimately boils down to the other factors that TUP is excelling at, such as CS differences, such as objectives being taken 3 turrets to 5. If anything, oh, Bambo.
Will be flashing away. There's Ember's Divide. 3 members caught up with their pursuit. But there is the Ornn going in with the charge. That's going to be a great shifting movement from the Azir. And with that being said, what happened there? What was removed? The calling. The Forge God is now down for AMA. This could be the call for the Baron.
If I'm... Oh, there we go. A little bit of a...
Very fast Baron. Looks like AMA does not have the tools to respond to this. But looks like TUP, they would want to go in. No Glacial Prison just yet. Waiting for the right time here. But that will be TUP just running back with the treasure of the Baron buff.
I'm going to have to take back what I said about TUP's macro. All of a sudden, things are really working in their favor. And if anything, the gold lead that they have, particularly despite the heavy difference in kills, is ultimately attributed to the fact that TUP was much more proactive in other aspects, such as taking down turrets, such as securing the dragons, as well as right now the Baron. So I think that's the saving grace right there. I think it's not really much of a macro issue now that I look back at it. I think it's just more of TUP with a little bit of misplaced here and there in the early game, but going into these later parts of the game, they definitely much more recuperate, know what rotations they have to make as far as controlling objectives. And yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead and see how this will go for TUP. If they could keep this off, take advantage of the Baron, then this may propel them into a 1-1.
Let's hope so for TUP. They would want to get the 1-1 here for the LVL. This is the second week of the LVL, and you do not want to show your weaknesses just yet, because at this point of the stage, this point of the LVL, when you show your weaknesses as clear as this, though, looks like the divide is there to try and escape, but the calling will be the one to finish up BAM. That's one member down with the Baron, and 48 seconds left for his death timer. AMA is doing a good job trying to pick up members here. Could this be the second pickup? Probably, but for TUP, perhaps they could turn things around.
A little bit of hesitation there, but with very good
Look
reason.
at the damage coming in from the red
Ken
shot.
Frost.
And the ace in the hole will not finish him off. Maybe the barrage. Yes, the true shot barrage will be removing this Janna from the fight with the mid lane exposed. No one to defend it just yet. Looking at how the members of AMA are responding. 4 members left with 4v4 on. The Baron buff is here, and I see you doing a lot of damage thanks to the barrels. And the barrage is there for the zone. They're pressuring AMA, and they're not responding that well. The Caitlyn here, Navi is just free hitting onto this Ornn. Looks like Falcata will be forced to back off. He does get a stun thanks to the Alistar, but there's the Glacier present onto Navi. There's the Forge Gun here. Navi is in big trouble. He has to flash away. Yes, he does. Now he will be going back to the fight, going on to Zedronic, trying his best, but looks like Relapse may join in the fight. With TUP though, Asidia taking down the Lucian. With that being said, Navi is the only threat here for AMA, trying their best to back off, but now Asidia joins in the fight. Janna is alive right now, but now I would say the Asidia has to try his best to pinpoint Navi, but they cannot even get close to the Navi. Zozo does not have the Glacier present. Navi very slow here. The stun won't connect. Niebe is very low. Niebe takes down Miko, but leaving Navi for the permafrost to be stacked in. He's going to be trying his best to try and take down. Zo's very low. Zo gets taken down by Navi, but now Navi goes into Kolkata with the help of Asidia. He does get the double kill. Ace in the hole. Maybe the finisher move. Yes, and that is going to be the triple kill. I don't know what Niebe was thinking there, not blocking the hit.
Things are suddenly going south way too fast for AMA Retaliate, but I can't really peg it on them making mistakes. I think it's just TUP really stepping up their game right now. And
Navi, go for the turrets, my boy. You have to go for the turrets.
Could be the
here.
game.
This could be the game here. I mean, Asidia just buying some time. Look at the damage by the barrels. The burn could have killed him, but the Triumph will be regenerating his health. But with that being said, looks like TUP will be ending this match to the 4th game of today's LVL with a 1-1. Congratulations to TUP.
oh man, that was absolutely beautiful coming in from Technological University of the Philippines. And I gotta say, once again, I take back the issues with the macro. It's just really more of trying to figure out their footing in this game. And I think heading into the later parts of the game, from mid to late, TUP definitely proved themselves. And yeah, I mean, at the same time, if you're gonna look at the composition of TUP, it's kind of like fine wine, wherein, especially when you have elements like the Azir, the Gangplank, and the Ezreal to an extent, later this game goes, the more painfully.
So the more the game progresses, the more it ferments. It would be TUP securing their victory for the 4th game of today's broadcast. Match 2 concludes with a 1-1. Congratulations to both TUP and AMA. But now, let us move on to match 3 between UST versus FID, FEU Tech. So let
Exciting.
us... what?
Exciting.
Exciting it is, because this is going to be the last match. But before we get to that, let us have a short break. We have been the Shoutcasters. My name is Vulcan, and with me was Arctic. See you after the short break. That TP can win, but AMA just has so much damage and lead, especially talking about Relapse. There's the Forge God knocking out the Azir. Great skill shot there, but BAM still has his flash, still taking away the Mountain Drake. Seeing Asidia going for the right side, going in for the slow with the barrels. Not much damage goes in, only the Alistar gets hit, but this will be a flash by Zo trying to get away, but that's going to be a huge bonus for TUP. They did take down Relapse. There's the Glacier Prison onto the Squeakies. Looks like Niebe takes down Navi, and that's going to be a huge massacre for this Azir. Spawning the Soul just gets the double kill. But they cannot even get close to the Navi. Zozo does not have the Glacier presence. Navi very slow here. The stun won't connect. Nieve is very low. Nieve takes down Miko, but leaving Navi for the permafrost to be stacked in. He's going to be trying his best to try and take down. Zoe's very low. Zoe gets taken down by Navi, but now Navi goes into Kolkata with the help of Varsity. He does get the double kill. Ace in the hole. Maybe the finisher move. Yes, and that is going to be the triple kill. I don't know what Nieve is. Let's go for the turret, my boy. You have to go for the turret.
Could be the game.
This could be the game here. I mean, Celia just buying some time. Look at the damage by the barrels, the burn. Could have killed it, but the Triumph will be regenerating his health. But with that being said, it looks like TUP will be ending this match to the 4th game of today's LVL with a 1-1. Congratulations to TUP.
Not enough Garena shells to buy the latest League of Legends skin? On sale now? Get shells anytime, anywhere with your Globe or Touch mobile number. Go to gamer.com.ph and sign up with your mobile number and enter the verification code you will receive via SMS. Log in and choose the game and pin you want. Check out to purchase the pin with your load or through your postpaid account and receive the pin on your phone instantly. Never miss a sale on your favorite League of Legends skins and champions with Gamer.